Hey, you guys, I came before you some days ago on the first day of a war, bloody war in Israel. I am shocked to find now a new war has broken out, not only on our college campuses, but in the halls of Congress. Today, a man bespectacled yelled in the face of Marjorie Taylor Greene.
They don't want peace.
So
Let
Gaza live! Let Gaza live! Let Gaza live! Murderers go home! Murderers go home! Let Gaza live! Let Gaza live! Let Gaza live! End the genocide! End the genocide! End the genocide! End the genocide instead of funding it! Blood is on your hands! Gaza's blood is on your hands! Gaza's blood is on your hands! Gaza's blood is on your hands! Let Gaza live!
Whatever you may think about her, just know this. That man, I know him. He is an enemy of the state of Israel. He is an enemy of the people who are Jewish. He hates Jews. He hates the state of Israel. So who is this man? This is the name you want to remember. This is the name you want to send to Capitol Police. Tahir Herzl, the bespectacled Palestinian-American Associate Director of Outreach and Community Organizing for American Muslims for Palestine. You've now seen Students for Justice in Palestine marching at Harvard and other campuses like UC Berkeley. Well, the man that created Students for Justice in Palestine, Hatem Bazian, or Hatem Bazian as his adversaries call him, created American Muslims for Palestine. The good folks at the Canary Mission have done a great job documenting their hate.
What if, as Muslims, we wanted to establish an Islamic state? Is that wrong? What if, as Muslims, we wanted to use violent means to resist occupation? Is that wrong?
I have followed these organizations for 21 years that are now putting Israel again in the crosshairs, even after such a tragedy. Who are they? Organizations like the Council on American Islamic Relations, Dream Defenders, Electronic Intifada, Islamic Networks Group, Empower Change, MoveOn.org, Muslim Advocates, Muslim Matters, Black Lives Matters, Engage, Antifa, Justice Democrats, Rethink Media. Tahir Herzl, who is he? Let me tell you my confrontations with him. It was in the halls of Congress. A woman by the name of Linda Sarsour had arrived in Congress in order to defend her friend Ilhan Omar. She led a contingency to Nancy Pelosi's office and then also to the office of Rashida Tlaib. And there I followed them like a journalist, like I have been doing for so many years. And sure enough, Linda Sarsour looked at me. She knew who I was. And as she stood outside Tlaib's congressional office, I write, in the marbled halls of the U.S. Longworth House building in March 2019, Sarsour ordered in Arabic, "Don't let her be one of the first ones in. Do you all hear me?" Her was me. Around her were scions of the Muslim establishment in America and their liberal allies, those people that are now on the streets in this unholy alliance between the left and the Islamists. And there they were, taking full advantage of the tax exemptions and benefits accorded to nonprofits. In the middle of the scrum, outside Representative Tlaib's office, Nihad Awad, the co-founder and executive director of the Council of Islamic American Relations. He listened to Sarsour's command, turned quietly to his aides, and smiled curtly. Nearby, Osama Abu Irshad, a stout Palestinian-American activist and national director of American Muslims for Palestine, a staunchly anti-Israel group with a history of anti-Semitism. He stood by and watched. And next to him, Tahir Herzl, the bespectacled Palestinian-American Associate Director of Outreach and Community Organizing for American Muslims for Palestine. What did they do? They blocked my path into a congressional office. They stood like a phalanx bouncers protecting Rashida Tlaib, who has now turned her target on none other than Joe Biden, saying today that she will not forgive him for his support of Israel. And then, months later, on September 7th, 2019, at the Hyatt Regency, I went to a fundraising banquet of American Muslims for Palestine. There, Tahir Herzl stood, one of the Irvine 11 prosecuted for interrupting the Israeli ambassador Michael Oren's speech in 2010. He was convicted of a misdemeanor of conspiring to deny the ambassador's free speech rights, along with 11 others. And this man then was hosting American Muslims for Palestine, where the keynote address was supposed to be none other than the CNN host who said famously, "From the river to the sea." There was supposed to be, speech after speech, I heard the hate for Israel. And to my shock then, that was where I watched a young woman in a white headscarf who introduced herself by saying, "My name is Abrar Omesh, and I am running for Fairfax County School Board at Large." That's when I became a parent advocate. That's when my incarnation as a mama bear emerged, because I knew that they had their eyes set on our little children in K through 12 schools. And when Tahir saw me, figured out that I was filming her speech, suddenly he stood in front of my camera to block my view of Omesh, but the message was clear. As my reporting would show, a network of Muslims in America had their eyes now set not only on the corridors of power in the nation's capital with Representative Ilhan Omar and Representative Rashida Tlaib, but they were now gunning for local school board races so they could walk the halls of America's schools, asserting influence in our classrooms and not confining themselves to anti-Israel campaigning, but they were immersing themselves in a convenient new ideology, critical race theory. What they used was the ideology of critical race theory to racialize Muslims and to thus call people racist and Islamophobic if they dared to challenge extremism by Muslims, by Palestinians. And that's where we're at today. That's why the Black Lives Matter movement and American Muslims for Palestine, Students for Justice in Palestine are working like this. And who was with them today? Far left Jewish groups like Jewish Voice for Peace, and If Not Now, that have aligned with American Muslims for Palestine, getting co-funding, getting support to take Hatem Bazian, known as Hatem Bazian's mission for Students for Justice in Palestine and the destruction of the state of Israel to our campuses and to Congress. And so the man standing beside Marjorie Taylor Greene, screaming in her face, thinking that he could use the freedoms in America to threaten another, was none other than this man that I have faced so many times, Tahir Herzl, convicted of a crime of conspiracy to deny free speech rights in America. That, my friends, is our war, and we have to win it against the woke army. We must win it. If there is ever a time when you can see clearly the consequence of their power in the world, it is now. They have supported and enabled that violence that has claimed so many innocents in Israel. And if we have any conscience, we will stand with the people of Israel and the Jewish people, supporting the existence of the state of Israel, because that existence is the number one agenda of these organizations to deny. They were created over the last 60 years in the United States of America with immigrants that arrived, like my father's generation, creating these organizations: Council on American Islamic Relations, Islamic Society of North America, Muslim American Society, Islamic Circle of North America. Those are the organizations that are putting people on the streets of Manhattan, on the campuses of Harvard, and now in the US Congress. And you have to open your eyes and realize that our threat overseas is a threat here in the United States of America and in all of our Western capitals and across the world. Let's stand together, you guys, for truth and for peace. Thank you.